So I'm just going into this movie called A Long Day in the Night, starring Ashton Sanders. And, I just wanted to go into this build up before this dialogue that I really want to get into. And the build up to it is, Ashton Sanders' character, Ja, his name is Ja, interestingly enough. He's working in this little shoe store, this little sneaker store, and he has a white coworker, a white female coworker who is pretty much saying like, Ja is not the only black gangster, my nigga's 10 toes down and so on and so forth. But she's just portraying that based off of the glorification. She's glorifying it. That's all she sees as what's good in the so-called black community. You feel what I'm saying? So she's glorifying that, even though, they get out the store and Josh sees the girl getting out the store with a man that doesn't seem like he's, how she's portraying her man to be. So then he proceeds to want to follow them and rob them, but they get caught up because they see police. And that's where he says that he hates white people. So I just wanted to get into the dialogue.
It's fucking ridiculous. Talking all that shit. All the way out here. White people get on my fucking nerves.
Why? Why does what some white bitch do even matter? Why do anybody matter? If all you're gonna do is react off of people, like what they say, what they think of you, and what they do, then you ain't shit but they puppet. Cause I could give a fuck about white people. I'm a predator, nigga. All that matters is me. You need to open up your eyes, Cuddy. Cause that's the American way.
He hit it on the nail, man. When we spend too much time worrying about white people, it's almost like we give them power. It's almost like we do become puppets because we give these people power by saying how much we hate them and, how much slavery has a lot to do with why things are the way they are and race dynamics and all these things without understanding the bigger picture, because it's all about knowing who you are. If you knew who you were and know who you are, then you would have a better understanding as to why you shouldn't give a F about those people. Just being honest. When you know that the Most High blessed you, with royalty and he chose you to be special and be separate, then that right there tells you that you won. You see, part of the problem with our people is we give this sort of like indirect validation seeking towards white people. We give them credit and we don't really understand that. And most of that is based in us living in this matrix where we're born into these lies. So it's like we go to school and in history we're taught that these people were of some sort of prominence, not knowing that we were the one that was in prominent positions, just in terms of the history that they teach in regards to Europe and things of that nature. They don't tell you about the history of black people, before slavery. And even with that, with that history in regards to slavery, that's a narrative. They don't tell you about how, those people were in slavery first. The word slave actually comes from the word Slavic. They don't tell you about these things. And all of that is psychological. You see, these people, they rule off of lies. Their rulership is based in lies. Our rulership is based in truth. What we adhere to is based in the true understanding. Righteousness. That's the spirit. So with knowing that, you already won. You already won knowing that the Most High gave you an understanding and blessed you with this understanding that's disparate from everybody else. And even the people that he didn't bless with the understanding, just being that they're Israelites, that's already a check-off box when it comes to the prerequisite. So you being an Israelite, that's already you won. You are a so-called black man. You are the best on this earth just when it comes to who you are. You are the salt of the earth. We should not be caring about these other races. They're less than us. It's just the truth. It's not me trying to, demean, or it's just the truth. It's a reason why, there's a higher percentage of so-called blacks in the NBA and in the NFL. And, it's a reason why. It's a reason why we dominate music. It's a reason why you have this stigma about us when it comes to, our staff. You know what I mean? And not even necessarily a stigma, but just a thing. We already understand the stereotypes, and it's negative, sometimes it's positive. But there's a reason why we are the salt of the earth. And with knowing that, we shouldn't have this hate towards these other races. It is what it is. The Most High hates these people because of the indignation. Because the Most High is just. Our hate comes from pretty much, wanting to be validated, for lack of a better way to put it. It comes from a sense of insecurity to a degree. Just as it was laid out in that scene where you have this like dichotomy between one black who is on the fence of, oh, I hate these white people. They live all the way over here, but she's talking about how, she want to be in the hood. She want a hood dude and this and that, but she lives in a nice suburban area. Who cares? At the end of the day, that should just show you what they uphold. And even in the smallest, bit, just in terms of how simple-minded people are when it comes to how they see us, the entertainment aspect, just the simplistic aspect of the superficiality, they see that. That's cool. Let them see that. Let them uphold that. Because at the end of the day, truth is going to be at the forefront. Truth will be revealed. It's a reason why you have videos of certain white women talking about how, there's something special about black people. This is what I'm saying. Like it's gonna meet. It's gonna come to the fore. If you follow what I'm saying. So it's important for us not to get so caught up in white people. And it's really just them. The other races is here and there, but it's really just them. And it's a reason why. It's spiritual. It goes back to Esau and Jacob in the womb. We already understand that. Just as I'm here in 2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse 9, where it says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And before that we see, and he said unto him from Abraham and Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. So we already know that was a signifier. We already know all these things are spiritual. But still, with that being said, we must take into account, how to empower ourselves through the knowledge of who we are. Because it's all psychological. So if we look at ourselves as just slaves and we come from nothing, then by extension, subconsciously, we're going to look at ourselves like nothing. We're going to seek validation from these people. But if we humble ourselves to the Lord, the Heavenly Father, our God, our power, just by knowing that you understand the power in separation, because he's our God, it's just the truth, then that should give you more, of a appreciation, as opposed to getting so caught up in these people. You give them power, just as it was said in the beginning of this video. You become their puppets. This is what I always say. I always iterate this sentiment of how we give them power when we get so caught up in, them. Oh, I hate white people, or white people this. Who cares? If you understand the truth, then you wouldn't really allow that stuff to bug you, because you know that these people come from nothing. Just being real. Those people come from the caves. Those people weren't civilized people. They were animalistic. They're not even 100% human beings, allegedly. They have recessive traits. We have dominant traits. We have carbon. They don't. They need, certain chemicals in order for them to, block themselves from getting cancer from the sun, which is something that's natural to the earth. What does that tell you about them? Just being real. Come on, man. You got to understand how special you are. You are indigenous to the earth. You are of blue, of green, of brown. Come on, get with it. Understand. Don't get caught up in these people. And if you want to assimilate and be friends, that's cool. Like, I assimilate. But I understand where I'm at. I understand who they are. I know Esau. But at the end of the day, we still have to play our role. This is still the chessboard. This is the Most High's movie. At the end of the day, the good guy always wins. For the most part, right? But in this overall grand scheme, the good guy will win. The good guy is Israel. Israel will win. It's okay. You know? You get what I'm saying in the grand scheme? The American way or the way of the spirit. Because the American way, I get what he was saying in regards to that opening. But it's really about, just the overall way. The American way is cool, but it's the overall way. Self-sufficiency. Still love your brothers, but understand that you're judged on your own. Get with it. These people don't matter. Yeah, you respect everybody. But at the end of the day, you know who you are. And you know what makes you so great. And that's the Most High. So at the end of the day, that's the upper hand that we have. We have the spirit. And that's what wins. That's the upper hand. That's what wins. And they know that. That's why they, doing all this stuff in these last days. Because the spirit will win. And I just want to correct myself because I said they don't have carbon. They actually do have carbon. I was just kind of getting out of hand with that. It's just at a lower percentage just when it comes to us and how effective it is with us. And we already understand these things just in regards to these traits that are more dominant within us. And they're recessive within those people. Blue eyes, the blonde hair, things of that nature. And, just to prove more of my point when it comes to how we seek validation or we want to be like these people to a degree, it's almost like they're the paragon. They've been set up that way from us being born into this matrix where we look at them as the paragon with like dolls, Barbie dolls and whatnot. A lot of our women, they want to get the weave and the wigs and with blonde hair and their dark skin just looking crazy. Things of that nature. It's like we have to understand if we were born into a world of truth when it comes to, the real deal of who we are, I don't think things would be like this. It just wouldn't. It just wouldn't. It's all psychological. We have been broken down. Even when it comes to like this understanding of how we look at them and how we understand them. Sometimes it's even hard to tell because, throughout times, we already know what's been taking place when it comes to, certain aspects of our people, our women being breeded with some of, those people throughout slavery, just when it comes to certain aspects of truth. But just when it comes to like the numbers they tell you is bull crap. And when it comes to the years, they tell you is bull crap. But they don't really tell you about like the vast history of slavery overall when it comes to the majority of races, not even just black and white. And before it was white on black, it was black on white, to be honest. And, we really did them dirty, just being real. And it's history to prove that it's artifacts is real. Especially, when we was ruling in Europe in the Dark Ages, we had them in real servitude. Real servitude. They don't teach you that because they don't want their people to know that they were in that position. Because it's all psychological. You even have arguments where these people, they'll say, yeah, King David, he wasn't a black man and Solomon wasn't black. Like, what are you talking about? It's historical. Because they adhere to the narrative. And it's not just them. It's, a lot of people, a lot of races. But this is just going into Obadiah, the prophet, who just gave you the understanding. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord power concerning Edom, Esau. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. So that ambassador represents Edom, Esau. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. You art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart have deceived thee. Though thou dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, so that's going into the caves, the Caucasus Mountains, whose habitation is high, right? This is why like buildings and things like that, it's so prominent in the world because, it represents those aspects of the rocks. It's made with rocks, right? So even with that, it's like a twofold aspect because of the rulership. Also representing, the parallels between this in Babylon or Rome, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Also going into, that replication in regards to the tower, because, it represents that pride, going back to, Lucifer. The same spirit that was on Esau was on those people who led that rebellion against the Most High. And the Most High casted it down. Who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. So we already understand when it comes to America, the emblem for it is the eagle. It's the bald eagle. And though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So it's important for us to understand, just in regards to the rulership aspect, most of this is prophesied. Pretty much all of it is prophesied. But some of these prophecies haven't come to pass, just when it comes to, Esau being the end of the world, Jacob being the beginning of it that followeth, and also other prophecies. And it's important for us to, regard it, because it just lets you know that it's the truth. All it does is let you know that it's the truth. It legitimizes it.